Title: My father said, your sister is successful and responsible. Unlike you, doesn't need help. But then, she was called a failure by her own father, overshadowed by her perfect sister, until one secret shattered everything. In a family divided. By comparison, one daughter is celebrated as a shining star, while the other is dismissed as a burden. But when life takes an unexpected turn, the irresponsible one is forced to step up, exposing hidden truths that change the family forever. A powerful story of betrayal, redemption, and the strength that comes when no one believes in you. The Golden Child and the Forgotten One. The clinking of silverware echoed through the quiet dining room as my father's voice sliced through the air sharper than any knife. Your sister, Sophia, is successful and responsible, he said, setting his glass of water down with deliberate force. She doesn't need help, unlike you, Emma. I froze mid-bite, my fork trembling in my hand. It wasn't the first time he compared me to her, but tonight his words carried the weight of a verdict, final, unshakable. My eyes darted to my sister across the table. Sophia sat straight-backed, her blazer still on from work, dark hair swept neatly behind her ears. She looked like a magazine cover, confidence dripping from her every move. She gave me a faint smile, the kind that wasn't meant to comfort but to remind me. You'll never measure up. I wanted to scream, I'm trying. But the words died in my throat. Instead, I stared at my chipped plate, at the faded floral pattern. That reminded me how old everything in this house was, except Sophia's new car parked outside. Dad. My voice was small, almost invisible. I'm not lazy. I'm just figuring things out. Figuring things out? He scoffed, shaking his head as he reached for the breadbasket. You're 24, Emma. Sophia had her life planned. At 21, she was already working in corporate while you're, what? Part-time cashier? Babysitter? A blogger? His words dripped with disdain. I felt heat rising in my cheeks. I freelance, Dad. I write. It's not a career, he cut me off like a judge silencing a hopeless defendant. My mother stayed silent, as usual. She fiddled with her napkin, pretending not to hear, not to choose sides. That was her role. Peacekeeper, or maybe coward. Sophia finally spoke, her tone honey-sweet, but I heard the steel underneath. Dad, it's okay. Emma just has a different path. Different path. The words echoed in my mind like a curse. That night, I lay awake staring at the cracked ceiling of my childhood bedroom. Posters from my teenage years still clung to the walls, faded and peeling. My laptop hummed softly on my desk, a blank document open, another article I couldn't finish because my head was too full of my father's voice. Your sister doesn't need help. Unlike you, it wasn't just about tonight. It was years of birthday parties where Sophia's accomplishments were the centerpiece. Years of relatives asking me, so what do you do? With that pitying tilt of their heads. Years of being told, directly or indirectly, that I was less. I turned on my side, biting my lip until I tasted iron. But here's the thing my father never understood. I wasn't weak. I wasn't lost. I was waiting, and when the time came, I would rise from the shadow of his golden child. The following weekend, Sophia came home again, parading her success like a trophy. She had just closed a big deal at her firm, whatever that meant, and my parents hung on her every word. I sat on the couch, scrolling my phone, pretending not to listen, but every sentence was a blade. We're expanding into new markets, she said, her voice carrying the smooth authority of someone who never doubted herself. My boss said I have leadership potential. They're already considering me for promotion. That's wonderful, honey, Mom gushed, eyes glowing with pride. Dad leaned back, smug. See, Emma, that's what responsibility looks like. Sophia's gaze flicked toward me. Her smile was subtle, victorious. And in that moment, something inside me hardened, because perfection has cracks. And I was about to find them. Cracks in perfection. Sophia's world wasn't as unshakable as everyone believed. One evening, I came downstairs for a glass of water and froze when I heard her voice. Sharp, panicked, nothing like the confident tone she used around my parents. She was in the kitchen, phone pressed tight against her ear. "I told you I'll pay, but I need more time," she hissed. "No, I can't let my family know. Do you have any idea what that would do to me?" I stayed hidden in the dark hallway listening. Her perfect image was cracking. Debt? Secrets? I didn't know, but the words carved into me. Later, at dinner, she laughed like nothing was wrong. "Work's amazing," she said. "I'm probably up for another raise." And my father, blind as ever, beamed with pride. "That's my girl. Emma, why don't you take notes?" I stared at Sophia, at the way she avoided my eyes, and thought, "You're not as perfect as they think. One day, the truth will spill." When the house of cards falls, it happened faster than I imagined. 2 weeks later, Sophia's company hit a scandal. Bad investments, shady deals. She was caught in the middle. The night she came home crying was the first time I'd seen her mascara. Smeared, her hands shaking. "They're blaming me," she whispered to Mom. "If this deal collapses, I could lose everything." I leaned against the doorway, arms crossed. "I thought you had it all together." Her eyes flashed. "Shut up, Emma. You don't understand." But I did. I understood the weight of failure, something she had never tasted until now. Still, Dad wouldn't admit it. He turned his anger toward me, like always. "Emma, stop provoking her. Can't you see she's under stress? Why can't you ever just be supportive, like a real sister?" The injustice burned, but I held my tongue, because I knew the tide was turning. The rise of the forgotten daughter. While Sophia crumbled, I found strength I didn't know I had. Our family finances were hit. Dad had quietly invested in Sophia's company, and now money was bleeding out. Bills piled up. Tension choked the air, and for once, I wasn't the weakest link. I took on extra freelance projects, writing late into the night. I pitched articles to bigger outlets, built a small online following, even started ghostwriting for professionals who paid well. Slowly, money trickled in. My money. One evening, when the electricity bill threatened to cut us off, I laid the envelope on the table. Paid. Dad stared at me, stunned. "Where did you get this?" I lifted my chin. "From working. From being responsible." His mouth opened, closed, but no words came. For the first time, silence was my victory. Truth revealed and respect earned. The breaking point came when Sophia finally confessed. We sat in the living room, tension thick. She buried her face in her hands. "I'm broke. The company's collapsing. My fiancé left me and I can't fix it." The silence that followed was suffocating. I looked at Dad. "You always said she didn't need help. But who's been holding this family together? Who paid the bills when you couldn't? Who stepped up when she fell?" My voice shook, but not from weakness, from power. Dad's face crumbled. Pride battled guilt in his eyes, until finally, he whispered, "Emma." I was wrong. Sophia reached for my hand, tears streaking her face. "I was jealous of you. You're stronger than me, Emma. I see it now." And for the first time in my life, I wasn't standing in her shadow. I was standing in my own light.